Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to IT for Solutions. I am Rof Yassin and you guys are watching my YouTube channel. As you already know, I have uploaded 8 hours of complete ASP.NET MVC course on my YouTube channel. And during following that course, there were many comments about view model section. Students were facing difficulties to understand view models, what are view models, how to use them. And some part of view models was also missing from that complete course. So I thought I should create a separate video which will explain about view models, complete view model concept, how we can create multiple models, and then how we combine those models to create a view, and little bit explain the concept of view models. So let's get started, and we'll see how we're going with this concept. So we will create new project, and we'll create a new project. By the way, I'm using .NET Core MVC, and the concept of view model is same in ASP.NET MVC or .NET Core MVC or .NET 6 MVC. View models are similar. So we can click on ASP.NET Core MVC or ASP.NET MVC or whatever MVC pattern you are following. You will probably see the view models, or if you are using uh, like any variant of MVC, you can follow the concept of view models. It's similar in all of those application variants. So I'm using ASP.NET Core, and we will click on this one and click on next. And let's say I write view model demo, and I will change my directory. Click OK, and we'll click next. And I'm using .NET 6, which is a latest version at the time of recording. We don't need any HTTPS because this video will just explain view model, so we don't need any HTTPS at the moment. And you can use any version. As I said, the concept will be similar in all of MVC projects. Okay, so we'll click on create. So it will create a brand new ASP.NET Core MVC project, which will contain a default home controller and default view, and we'll use the same controller uh, for demonstration of this view model concept, although you can create your own controllers if you want to do. So you can see this is brand new .NET 6 Core MVC project. So we have this home controller, and this it has some of the views. So we have index view, we have privacy and error view, and obviously we'll action results, and these ones have the similar concept of like these are action results, and they have their relevant views. So first of all, let's understand what is a view model and why we use in ASP.NET MVC. So in ASP.NET MVC, again, regardless of variant, the view models uh, in ASP.NET MVC, a single model object may not contain all necessary data. Let's say we have customers, and it has some properties like first name, last name, and it has multiple subscriptions. So we want to create a view which will have a customer details alongside their subscription details, and we have one customer model and one subscription model, right? And when we want to display a customer with its subscriptions, we need a third model, a different model. This is what we call a view model. View model very strong in behavior. We can create as much properties as we want, and we can create lists, generics, and multiple models inside a model to 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 represent our data on a user's view. So view model is a model which contains more than one model data required for particular view, and it may contain some additional properties if we require to or if we want to create two, depending on the scenario. Okay, so in our customers example, we can continue that example and we'll see how we are going. First of all, we have a customer model, so we can create a right click on models folder and click on class, and we can write customer. This is our first model, okay? And I'm not going in much detail because we only need some of the properties. So I'll create prop ID and sorry, customer name, and I can use string email. Okay, by the way, this is string property, so I'll have to define them as nullable, or I can assign, this is new nullable implementation in .NET 6, so I can assign them as null. Explicitly null, we can write string dot empty, because the default value for these string variables is empty. You don't have to write it, will just give you some warnings about the null reference exceptions. So let's say we have this customers uh, view model, and we can create some customer here. So let's say in when we run the application, this is the index action method which will be executed first, and it will return view. If you go to your program.cs, and you will see we have default controller name home and default action name is index. So this action will be executed. So let's say I created a customer, and I don't need this one, and over here I can write some properties like first name, customer name, id equals to 1, name equals to Muhammad Ahmad, and I can write an email, muhammad@yahoo.com. Okay, so this is our customer, and we want to pass this customer to our view. So this is our view, we can pass this customer, and if we go to view, this is just an basic view which will contain uh, some basic HTML. So we can map this view with the model. So we can write model, and then we write the name of our project, view model demo dot models dot customer. Okay, so over here we can write some HTML. Div class is equals to container, and let's say I write div, or I can write a table class is equal to table dash bordered. Okay, and then I can write some, I don't need a complete thr, I just write tr, and then within this tr I will write th, and it will be customer id, customer name, and then I can write email. Okay, so this is our heading. Then we'll create another row which will be like model dot id, customer name, then it will be email. Okay, so let's say this is our view, and we can click on view model demo project. There should be a start button here, so we can click on this one and we're good to go. So you can see as the application started, we hit the home controller and it fetch customer information, and it displays here. But at this moment we also want to display the customer subscriptions list or we want to display some other information, how we can do, because that information we can't, due to some database restrictions or database design policies, we can't include those properties or that information within this customer model. We want to store that information to somewhere else. Now we need to add that information to the end user, because end user doesn't know about the databases, so we need to include that information and display here on web page. So let's say we can come here, and inside the models folder, let's say we can create another model. I'm not going to discuss any database relations here, so I just create customer, or I can create a subscriptions. Subscriptions, and it will contain, like, ideally it should contain ID, then it should contain customer ID, and then it should contain, I'm not going to create a separate project for separate model for defining or storing subscriptions itself. I'm using the same model. So let's say I've created a title, and I created decimal price. Okay, so let's say this we call string.empty, and we can leave that this one as it is. Okay, now we want to display this subscription list alongside the customer. So in order to display this one, let's say we come back to the home controller and we create some subscriptions. So we have list of subscriptions. I want to create multiple subscriptions. Okay, this should work straight away. Okay, so now I'm going to add new subscription, and this list, let's say for the time being, have 3 subscriptions. Okay, so we have ID equals to 1, title equals to basic, and price equals to 500. Okay, then we can copy these properties here. ID equals to 2, 3, this is 600, this is 700. Okay, this one is deluxe, and this one is premium. Okay, so these are 3 subscriptions. We want to pass these subscriptions alongside with this customer. So in order to implement this one, we can't send, because if you go to the view, our view is binded with one model, which is customer model, and we want to display both of those model properties to a third model, or to a unique model, which will contain properties of both models. So in order to implement this scenario, we should have a third model, which is which we called view model. Okay, so we can right click on models folder and create a new class. The name of this class will be customer subscriptions view model. Okay, and this view model doesn't have any shouldn't have any primary key, because we are not going to store this model to the database or anywhere. This model is just to present data on a customer view. Okay, so we can create prop int. We don't need int, even though we can pass a complete model here. So this model will contain customer, customer. So first property of this model is customer, and the second property of this model is list of subscriptions, and we can write subscriptions. Okay, so this model will contain this one, these two properties, and now instead of passing that customer model to the view, this index, we can pass this one. Okay, you can also create a separate uh, folder for view models, which we called view model, instead of creating view models inside the same model, because if you're developing a web app, probably you'll have way more list of models, and you can't actually create view models inside this model folder, which will be very confusing for you. Okay, so you can see these errors are now popping in, but we can do model which refers to this customer subscription view model now. And if you come here, it has a property called customer. So we can come here, model dot, you see this showing this model now have this customer, and it has subscription. Okay, so we can write customer dot id, then we have model dot customer name, model dot customer dot email. Okay, and the next property of this model is a list. Okay, now we need to pass that list. Okay, so let's say after that one, I create another div, or I can use the same container div, and I can create h2 class of title, or I can write, leave that the class part. I can write h2 and customer subscriptions. Okay, this one we can write here h2 customer information, and this is now we have customer subscriptions. And over here we need to create another table which will contain a list of customer subscriptions. So we can write the same table here. This will be a subscription id, then we have a subscription title, and we have a price property. Okay, and over here we cannot write directly, because this these subscriptions, if we go to the view model, is a list of subscriptions. So we should iterate over it using some loop. So we can write here for each, and I can write where subscription, or I can write item in model dot subscriptions, and over here we can cut this part and move in here. Okay, and then now we can utilize this item. This refers to a single subscription inside the list of subscriptions. So we can write item dot id, then we have item dot title, and we have item dot price. Okay, and we can write this uh, currency symbol which will represent the price. But if we, at the start, if we don't have any customer subscription, it may, during this iteration, it may okay, we'll see. You can, anyway, you can validate here if model dot subscriptions dot any, and then you can write this one. Okay, here, otherwise we will not display any subscriptions. Any will check if we have any records available, then it will display, otherwise this section will be an empty section. Okay, now we come to our controller, and we have already created this customer, and we have already created this subscription. Now we can create a customer subscription view model, CSVM equals to new customer subscriptions view model, and we can assign customer equals to this customer. Okay, and we can assign subscriptions equals to subscriptions. So this customer refers to this customer object, and this subscription refers to this list of subscription. Although you don't have to create them separately, you can create you can create like this one, customer equals to this one, and subscription equals to this one. Okay, like this. So now you can get rid of these customer and separate subscriptions. Okay, this is our subscription, and now we can finally pass CSVM to our view. Now our view is binded with the customer subscription view model. Let's see. This is the final version of code. We created customer subscription list view model subject, and we don't need this one. We can write this thing. This is a new syntax for creating new functions or new objects. Then we created a customer object. This part we are creating and assigning values to the customer object, and then this object will be assigned to the property of customer subscription list view customer subscriptions view model. And the similar we're doing with the list of uh, customer subscriptions. Okay, and in the index view we created a customer information which will execute model.customer.properties, and as this subscription is the list of subscription object or subscription model, and so we are iterating over this list, and over here we're checking if we have anything available inside customer. Otherwise you can, maybe we have some scenarios where we have to write something like this, and we can create div class is equal to alert dash danger, and we can write no records found. Okay, div like this. And now we can start the project again. Oh, it seems we have included the each for each loop somewhere wrong positions. So probably we need to iterate over rows, not columns. Okay, so we can cut this tr thing and add inside this loop, and then it should iterate over these rows. And to make some difference, let's identify the refresh this one first. It's not working. I think we need to use this hot reload functionality, and then we can refresh this page again, and we can see this subscription id, subscription title, and price. So this is the benefit of view models. We have multiple information or multiple models connected with the view models, and we can create this kind of view, and it is very useful in cases of let's say you want to create a customer invoice, you want to create a purchase order, wherever you want to display properties from multiple objects, you can create this view model. And although it doesn't always have to use those models completely, you can create separate properties within this model, and this model itself may contain some of the additional properties which are not required for another view model. So this is all about view models in ASP.NET Core MVC, and I was facing many questions on my YouTube channel from many students who are facing difficulties implementing view models in their 8 hours of complete course. So I hope so this video will help you, and uh, I'll see you in next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.